Power reliability. Good morning, and first of all, a very warm welcome also from my side to all the colleagues here in Nuremberg, but also everybody who has joined online in our live stream. Warm welcome to the topic power reliability. And I actually would like to start about, let me say, crazy topic, but that's actually what it is. I'm not going to have a motivation speech about sports or something, but it's about how healthy is your heart. That's a very important question, I think. More or less, I would say everybody at a certain point has to think about this question. Somebody preventive, somebody maybe due to some other causes. But how healthy is your heart? That's a very important question. As you know, the heart is the main part of your body. As long as our heart is beating, my body is functioning. That's why I call this one, and I compare it to the power supply. If we look into the industrial solutions, that's what I love to compare. The power supply is the heart of every application. Hello to our colleagues, PLC Next Technology. That's why I say that's the brain. The brain of your control, the brain of your application is the technology, the PLC Next Technology, for example, Phoenix Contact. So my brain is controlling my body. My brain is controlling what I'm saying, what I'm doing. But it's only possible because the heart is beating, and that's with the power supply. As long as the power supply is available, the system is running. And that's why it comes to the topic power reliability. We need to make sure that we have to maintain our heart. And when we come into the power supplies section, let me say it's, a power supply failure can cause huge damages, mostly financial damages. If we have an unplanned shutdown, it can be very, very expensive. With the heart, it's like, heart attack, 50% chances. In an application, it's a game over. If the power supply fails, the system breaks down and we have an unplanned shutdown. And most causes, what we see after speaking to customers, to industries, after analyzing products, is more or less, you can say, external impacts. It's either over voltages coming due to some lightning, surge, mains interruption, mains fluctuation, but also maybe on the DC side, overload or short circuits. So some external impacts which can cause a system breakdown, which can cause a power supply failure. And to make sure we avoid these one, we withstand these kind of causes, we as Phoenix Contact understand this one as the topic of power reliability. Power reliability actually describes, let me say, combination of three main pillars, I would call it. It's, first of all, protection, of course, the part of supply, but also measuring. These three pillars, protection, protect, supply, and measure. The combination of these three product categories actually allow us to make a reliable solution, and that's what we call power reliability. So in terms of product, it would actually mean if I have a power supply, everybody has a power supply, everybody needs a power supply, it's mandatory. But we always recommend also to protect the power supplies on the input side, but also on the output side. And when I speak about the input side, it's about surge protection. Type 1, Type 2, Type 3 surge protection arresters. You have a over voltage concept in your application. So it is mandatory to have a power supply, but the recommendation is to use an appropriate surge protection. And when I'm saying appropriate, I also mean it has to be a design harmonized system. So just as an example, I could say, let's have a power supply and let's just use a surge protection and the system is done. Unfortunately, it's not that easy because, especially into looking at these components, it's just as an example, if I think about surge protection and power supply, they are normally connected in parallel on the primary side. I have a power supply and on the input side, the parallel connected surge protection. In terms of components, it means a surge protection has gas discharge tubes and some varistors inside, so the main components to take away the energy of a surge. And how the principle works is that if the voltage comes, an over voltage, the varistor is activated, it takes over the energy towards the gas discharge tube and eliminates the surge. But in case of a design, also a power supply has, for example, a varistor on the input side to withstand some spikes, some energies itself. And now when we think about two varistors connected in parallel, operating on voltage, you can imagine the voltage is same for both of them. And the small problem which can happen if you choose a random power supply and a random surge protection, and if their varistors are not coordinated, it could mean, as an example, if I go, the power supply would have a varistor maybe with 300 volt nominal value, and maybe the varistor of the gas surge protection 350. That would mean that if the voltage rises, the power supply varistor will be activated before the surge protection, and your problem is that the power supply would become the surge protection. Obviously, it would not withstand the surge. and the surge protection didn't do anything. Why? Just because of the not right design mismatch of these components. And this is where, again, it comes to power reliability when we say we want to provide a system where the components are already matched. So there's an example. Surge protection on the input side, power supplies, then the recommendation would be use, of course, device protection, so the protection on the DC side. That's more like the bracket on a power supply, protection on the input and output side, and last but not least, what we recommend definitely is the part of measurement. It's again, when I come to my example with the heart, to avoid a heart attack, I should monitor my heart, I should maintain it, and I should double check it. And that's possible if we take the data, if we take the parameters, if we measure it. Data, that's like I would say the new gold, the gold of the future. And that's where it comes together and we say power reliability as protection, supply, and measurement, the three main pillars. And as we are here on the fair SPS, unfortunately, our guests from the live stream can't touch the products here, but all the colleagues who are here, I would love to invite you also to come to the stand and have a look, because I would like to give some small examples as the new highlights which we are presenting in the topic of power reliability. And one new latest system which we have launched is our PTCB TM. So the PTCB thermomagnetical protection on the DC side as a perfect systematic device with power supplies, surge protection. What we can see here, that's actually the new electronic or the thermomagnetical fuses for the DC side. You have a part including the monitoring, that's the DC side protection, and the power supplies. And the combination, the harmonization of the device makes it actually the reliable protection with easy handling and also monitoring aspects. So it means you can monitor continuously the current of your system. You can individually monitor every individual channel, so you know in case of an installation error, you have the capability to react on time. So that's just as an example for the systematic solution or system. Please feel free to join us afterwards at the booth and have a live demonstration of these products. That is the pillar so far from the type of protection, one of the highlights. The second topic, of course, which I would like to go in, is the part of power supplies, the part of supply. And also there, we have a new highlight with us here at the SPS, which is now the combination of a power supply with a UPS. We are talking about a DC UPS. When you saw the three causes for errors, which was surge, mains interruption, but also mains fluctuation. So especially looking on mains interruption, mains fluctuation, we can avoid it by UPS systems, by uninterruptible power supply solutions based on battery. And that's one of the next highlights. It's the Trio Power DC UPS, where you have the combination of power supplies with integrated UPS system. You just need additionally the battery module and you are good to go. The system has the backup in case of a mains fluctuation, mains interruption. Your 24 volt are reliably available, stable supply is achieved, and your system runs. Also here, I would love to invite you to the booth. We have this, the demonstration of this product with us, so just come over. Please feel free and get in touch with the colleagues to deep dive also in the topic of Trio DC UPS. As we spoke about protection, supply, I guess you know, the third part where I would like to go is the aspect of measurement. And also in respect to measurement, I would like to give a small example how the part of measurement can increase the reliability. And there it's again the idea, if you stay in the portfolio of one supplier like with Finish Contact, you have here in this case like a plug-and-play solution. What I'm talking about is our Empro system, so our multifunctional device for monitoring, especially the AC side. So you have the opportunity to monitor the whole inside input voltage. So it means when you have some kind of surge, mains fluctuation, interruption coming into your system, you have the capability to monitor them. The Empro device is available with the display, but also without the display, with network communication or with web server. So you have the capability also to get the data to your system, to your control cabinet. And what I'm referring to is like how it works is you have the multi-function energy meter device in combination with our Rogowski coils, which are unfortunately just behind this text. These are the Rogowski coils, how this one is like, especially in retrofit application. You take the Rogowski coil, put it on your incoming power lines to phase 1, 2, 3, and you connect the coils with the cable, which is available directly to our Empro device, and that's it. That's it. After that, the system is automatically parameterized, let me say. You have a plug and play, you are good to go. From that moment on, the system is continuously monitoring the input side, and you just now need to configure it into your system, either via web server, smart services, or let me say the communication interfaces. So here again, just an example for the plug and play, how it works. You know, I always love to compare this topic, especially when I see it's like with the Lego toys. You know, when I was a kid, I had Lego brackets. I used to love to play with these Lego brackets. And today, if I buy a Lego set for my son, it's the same. He can play with my stones together with him, and they always fit perfectly together. They just mix and match. And that's the idea with power reliability. So first of all, keep in mind protection, supply, and measurement. Only these three pillars together will increase the reliability, will increase the availability of your system. And that's actually what I was talking all the time about. The big portfolio from Phoenix Contact in these three pillars. And the beauty is actually the harmonization in development. Of course, you have the capability to mix and match on the market, but then again, there might be some errors, and here really the benefit, you have to design in harmonization as it's a one company, one team, one solution. So that's just a small overview about the products, protection, supply, and measurement once again. And as I said again, please feel free to afterwards to join us at the booth and have a closer look into these different type of products, into the combination, how we actually live protection, supply, and measurement. And the overall target is reliable supply. That's more or less the infinity symbol. That's what we want to achieve. We want to achieve a reliable, stable supply, especially looking into the future with this more simple, a bit more complex systems. The demand is more and more. So therefore, please feel free to join us also after this presentation on our booth. And if you like, you have also the opportunity to download all the presentation or also other content to power reliability. Feel free to scan the QR code and just download the material or get in touch with us directly here. So thank you very much once again for joining this presentation, also in the live stream, and have a good day.